What's up, Mortgage Coach community? Dave Savage coming to you live with Aaron Page out of Austin, Texas. What's up, Aaron?
What's up, Dave? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I like that little fist bump. Let's do that
Yeah,
again. Let's
right
do
there,
that
right
again.
there.
So, dude, I really appreciate how you're active in our Facebook group. I think this conversation came about because you put a post bragging about the fact that you're a black belt and sharing that we've helped you get to, I don't think you're quite at 200 loans for the year, but we've been a big part of your story for 2020. So
huge part. Man, it's an honor to be here, Dave. I appreciate your consistent pushing of this great technology that you have that benefits our clients in a huge way. But just as much as that, like the community that you have built, I mean, with so many wonderful people, it's inspired me for a long time. And, and so I'm just honored to be here.
Well, dude, that is what makes Mortgage Coach awesome. I mean, we are a technology company for sure, but the community is what makes it so special. It's people like you, that you've learned from the community, and now you're giving back. You're having enough success, and you've got to the point where you're a black belt, and now it's an opportunity for you to lead others and motivate others. So thank you for doing that, and thanks for that post. I would love to see more members do that.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, well earned.
Yeah. So tell us a little. I want to know how you're using Mortgage Coach. I want to know a little bit about that journey of going from I was a white belt, because it sounds like you just started getting after it this year, and I want to share your story because I think it will be helpful to others, whether they're brand new in the business or they're like, oh, I know I should use Mortgage Coach, but they haven't. I think just hearing your journey to becoming a black belt would be really helpful. So before we do that, just tell us about your mortgage practice. Do you have a team? You're in Austin. Tell us a little bit about your mortgage practice.
Yeah, so I'm in the great city of Austin, Texas. Was born and raised here. I left for 7 years to Kentucky. I played college basketball there. Got married, so I was there for 7 years, and then I brought my wife back here to Austin as fast as I could possibly get her here. So been back here in Austin for about 17 years. But yeah, we're with Homeowners Financial Group. I have an amazing team, a small and mighty team, but couldn't and wouldn't want to do what we do without them for sure. So shout out to them. They make me look great, way better than I really am. And so, we're just, we love Austin. We love the community. We're a part of it. And, we're excited. Obviously, it's been a great year for everybody. But we're going to finish the year around, we're at about 175 right now units you were asking. And so we'll finish the year a touch over 200 families served.
Boom. Congratulations. Who'd you play basketball for in Kentucky?
Murray State University.
Right on, man. And then I recently listened to the podcast with Joe Rogan and Matthew McConaughey, and I don't know if you've heard that interview yet, but they had probably a 20-minute conversation around Austin, and it made me want to move there, man.
McConaughey is huge. I think he might be running for governor soon.
Hey, I'm currently listening to his new book, Greenlight, and it's good. I mean, it's a really just packed with wisdom and entertaining, and I don't know, I liked it.
Yeah.
Or I'm liking it.
I've actually listened to a little bit of it, and I feel the same way.
Yeah, no, really good stuff. Well,
he's at all the Longhorn games, Texas Longhorn, huge fan. He's at the games. He's cheering them on the sidelines. He's a pretty big figure here.
Yeah. Well, now you got Joe Rogan. I don't know if you're a big fan of Joe Rogan, but he's going to turn it into a podcasting mega, and said he's going to open a comedy store. So it should have some good comedy clubs coming soon.
Yeah. Also continues to be a great destination place for people to move. And so, we're excited about, the long term here as well.
That's awesome. So let's talk about Mortgage Coach and why you decided 2020 to get after it and go from, it sounds like you've been a member for multiple years, but this is the year where you really embraced it and made it part of your habits.
Yeah, so, I don't know if I was a white belt or a gray belt, for a number of years. And, I paid for the service and just didn't use it. But, I still learned a ton from the community. And I think it was just a testament to your continued, consistency, with doing what you do. but I set my intention last year this time. I needed something a little bit more 21st century. I needed a simple solution that could really, share the story with clients about the benefits, of their short and long, mid and long-term objectives, and so I needed something to kind of to match that, and so I set an intention. I was like, 2020 is going to be the year. I'm going to go all in, and so we actually made a company move earlier in the year, and then the pandemic was happening, and so I just took that time to go all in, dive, learn everything I needed to do to learn to get traction with it. And so Mortgage Coach was permanently branded on my mind with all of the amazing people that are on here, the Dan Kellers and Jeremy Forciers, and I've seen those guys too, by the way, in action up front, and met them and spent a little time with them, and they're not just amazing professionals, but like they're great people. I mean, so many of the people that you have on here, Dave, are phenomenal human beings, and I love that about your community. And Michelle Town and Cindy Ertman and Kelly Zitlow, who was my coach last semester. So just love this community. But I made the intention to go all in this year, Dave, and obviously it was a great year to do that. But I'm all or nothing, and so it took me a while, a little slow. But when I got on the train, I set the intention, I'm going to do it. And so, I haven't done a closing cost worksheet all year long. Like this year, I went from zero to where I am now with Mortgage Coach, and obviously still got a long way to go. But every refinance and every purchase, I do a TCA in our professional presentation with every single client. And it's just like, it's amazing today because, I had a really, really good Excel closing cost worksheet that I used. It was the best that you could get with Excel, and I used it for years. It was an interactive tool, but it kind of fell short, with where I was at and where I was going. And I needed something a little more high tech and more visual on one page, where clients could look at it and say, oh yeah, like these are the options, and these are the long-term benefits of each option. Something that was high tech and just simple for me and the clients. And so I've been getting a lot of great feedback, this year. Clients are like, man, you're really investing in your technology, I can tell. And I'm like, oh yeah. Wow, this is a great tool. Man, like I'm able to like really analyze, my financial goals like with this tool. And so just comments like that, I'm getting a lot of those this year. So it just reinforced that like it was the right move and the right decision to make this upgrade.
So it sounds like you really made the decision in 2019, and it was part of what are the things I'm going to do better next year. Like it wasn't like COVID happened and then you did it. You came into 2020 with this being one of your personal business goals. Is that fair enough?
No, absolutely. When I sat down and I made out my goals and decisions for 2020, this was one of them. And that was definitely an intentional goal. And how it works when you set those intentions out. They usually have a way of coming into play. And I had no idea the rates were going to do what they did, and the market was going to be like this. I had no idea, but it was certainly an intention. And I began working on it in January. And then, it's been one of those things where I'm just, I'm gradually adding things. Starting to do videos. With each one, and then I also do, consultations, live consultations too. But yeah, it's been a great ride.
So by the way, I don't know if Jasmine is still watching, but Jasmine just liked this. And if you didn't listen to my last interview with Jasmine, she is a top producer. She is a red belt and then some. But she started using video a few months ago, and she's like, "Oh my God, it's saving me so much time." So
awesome. I didn't even know we were live.
Yeah, no, you're live in the Mortgage Coach Facebook group. We got a couple dozen people tuning in and checking it out, and then this will be in the YouTube channel soon enough. So I always say that like it's the power of the why. Like you came up with a very personal and clear why, and that is the seed of going from white belt to black belt. And so for anyone listening to this, this is a man who paid for Mortgage Coach for multiple years, either used it casually or didn't use it. And then he got a why, he got clear on it, and he implemented it. And then it's making the why, and then it's learning. It sounds like you've been listening to Mortgage Coach videos and being active in our community for a while now. How often do you listen to videos? How often are you active in our community? You know, how much are you learning from Mortgage Coach?
Like you said, I paid for it for a number of years, didn't use it, but I remember very distinctly, Dave, and I just thought about this morning as I was thinking about our call today. And I listened to an interview that you had with Wally Ellerberry about a little over 2 years ago. And he was just talking about how he did a horrible job with his database. And his database was like a small percentage of his business, like less than 10%. And he just made the intention to gradually grow that to like 20 and 30% or more. And that was like 2.5 years ago. And I remember that. And so from that call, I was like, hey, I need to implement that. I'm in the same boat. And so doing that from 2018 and 19, that helped me. And I wasn't even really actively using the software, but I was learning from top producers and great minds like Wally and Jeremy and all the ones that I mentioned. I was implementing that. And so I think the other why is like, hey, yeah, my wife's like, hey, like you're paying for this and not even using it. Like you need to use it. But also just like, hey, these are like super successful people in our business that are using this amazing tool. Like I need to be doing that too. So I'm always learning and growing. I'm always about, hey, what are these top professionals doing? And let's implement.
So by the way, I think the truth just came out. Your wife found out that you were paying for software that you weren't using, and you were going to have to stop getting it, or you had to use it. So
we had multiple whys. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, no, and you had an accountability partner, and that you had a why. You had an accountability partner, and then I also know that you're professionally coached. And was Kelly Zitlow your coach at the time?
She was my coach this spring. I had a great coach, Cindy Urban, and a few years ago helped me get through a glass ceiling. She's amazing. And yeah, Kelly Zitlow was my coach this past semester. And oh my gosh, Kelly is an amazing, obviously amazing at Mortgage Coach and a user. But we all know she's like the queen of video. And so I learned a ton from Kelly, and just an amazing human being as well. So she really she had a lot to do with my success this year, in addition to Mortgage Coach.
Well, that's great to hear.
Kelly rocks.
And Cindy Ertman, you were amazing too. And here's the other takeaway for anyone listening: he had accountability partners. He got clear on his why, and then he implemented. By the way, Jasmine, she is listening. She's loving it. Jasmine, if you have any comments or questions, let us know.
I look forward to hearing Jasmine's interview.
And I just put a link to it. So if you check this out in our Facebook group afterwards, it was 30 days after getting started with video. So you can hear kind of like I'm doing you how to become a black belt at Mortgage Coach. This is like how to implement video 30 days later and what she thought of it. So hopefully it will inspire you and give you some ideas. Yeah. So now let's talk about doing, how you use Mortgage Coach. Doing it, I'm going to get a script out of you because we can learn from everyone. And I want to hear one of your best Mortgage Coach scripts, but talk about how you use Mortgage Coach right now in today's market.
Well, obviously, I'm using it, for every refi and every purchase. The first thing that, with our process, after I speak with them, they fill out an application, our team gets a little bit of information, and they're scheduling a high trust interview or a loan consultation with me. And so at that time, we're going through their loan options together. And so, at that time, that's where I'm going to put together the TCA for them, the options that are going to, they're going to be fit for them, and based on the interview that we have, and we go from there.
Hey, can you hear me? I lost you.
Oh, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hear you. So who does the setup? Is it someone on your team or you in Mortgage Coach? Who puts in the data?
So right now, that's me. We kicked this year, so I'm mastering that, and but certainly like as we've grown, I'm gonna definitely need to get somebody on the team and prepare them to handle that, for 2021 because it's definitely getting to that point.
Well, I don't
At
want
least
you
help
to,
me
I mean,
set it up.
yeah, well, I mean, I interview a lot of top producers at all levels, and there is not a right answer to that. Like Jeremy Forcier has done 7,000 plus TCAs, has a large team, and he does mortgage coach. Uh, Kelly Zitlow, she has someone on the team that could do the setup, but she could do it too. I interviewed Amber Kovark, who is a 400, a year loan
Yeah.
officer, and her team sets up the purchases, but she does the refis. So
Yeah.
I don't want you to think like, oh, I have to have my team do that. I mean, that might be how you evolve your team, and you and your coach can figure that out together. But I talk to loan officers, and there's a lot of different ways of doing it.
I enjoy it. I really enjoy using it. And I love technology, and so maybe I have somebody help me set it up over time, but like, I really enjoy, going through the presentations with clients.
Yeah, that's a part of the business.
For a short time. So yeah, I enjoy
Well,
it.
there you go. Wherever you get your energy, and that would be, one suggestion to anyone listening to this. If you don't like technology, you don't like data input, you have your team do it. And if you don't have a team, you do it until you can't have a team. But if you get energy from that, and that's, you're good at it, you get energy from it, do what gives you energy. So let's hear a script of how you position it with a client. So before you give them the TCA, what do you call it to the client, and how do you position it?
Well, so my team really sets up that call. So they're really going to, during their conversation with them, they're going to prepare them for a loan options call or interview, with Aaron. And so right now we're calling it the loan options interview.
Got it. So your team has talked to them. They've got the app, and now they're saying, and now it's time for your loan options conversation with Aaron. And how are you doing that? Is that over the phone? Is that over Zoom? Have they sent the TCA yet? Give us a feel for that.
So what I'm doing right now, Dave, is I'm doing a lot of live. When I say live, like I haven't progressed to the point where I'm doing all on Zoom yet, but I'll do Zoom, and then sometimes it's over the phone. But I want to make sure that they have Mortgage Coach up at that time, and so it's the first time they've seen it. So they're seeing on their screen, and I'm driving, and I'm going over the presentation with them. And so, I found that to be, pretty effective, at least this year, because, they can see what I'm talking about, and we're going over all the options together. I tell them, hey, this is an interactive, or this is a live link. So whatever I do on my screen, you can see on your screen. As we go through, all the options, the total cost, the overtime, and whatnot. So it's been pretty effective.
Got it. So takeaway for anyone listening, he's using Mortgage Coach Live. Are they getting the email the day before, an hour before, or like literally as they get on the call with you, you're giving them the link? Because I've heard loan officers that do it different ways. Like they literally don't want people to click on it until they're on the phone. And now it's like, okay, look in your inbox. There's a link. Click on it. When do you give them the email and tell them to click on the link?
Yeah. So I think for the first half of the year, I was doing the video. I was sending it to them, and I was like, "Hey, let's jump on a call at this time." Blah blah. And then we got really busy, and I was like, "I need to conserve some time," and so I switched to sending them the link right there on the phone. And so we're on the phone. Maybe ask a couple questions of like, hey, do you have your email in front? And then I email it to them there. They pull it up, and then we go through it together. So that's what I'm doing right now.
All right, well, let's do this. Let's have you share your screen, and let's get a little overview of a story and a strategy. Jasmine, if you're still listening, I don't remember if I asked you this question, but I do remember you do a lot of Mortgage Coach Live experiences. When does your client get the email? If you're going to do live, Jasmine, let us know when they do it. And one thing I know for sure, Jasmine is going to be consistent. It's like, this is the way we do it. And it's always the same. If you're watching this and you are a Mortgage Coach member and you use live, I want to know when do you give them the emails and tell them to click on live? Is it at immediately at the time, an hour before, a day before, whenever? Let us know. So, all right. So we're looking at this. First of all, before you start getting into the story and strategy, I just want to call out, guys, how intentional Aaron's done. If you could scroll to the top with your photo, he's got his personal brand, his photo. You can tell that he's very intentional about that. The Aaron Page team, company logo, just a branded experience. And Aaron, was that a big part of your why, that you wanted to go beyond Excel and you wanted to make sure that when you were given numbers, it also aligned with the brand that you're building for yourself? Was that part of your why?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, everything we do is a reflection, of who we are and what we do. And so, clearly, this beautiful thing that you've created here, Dave, I mean, there's nothing else like it on the market. I mean, definitely 1,000 times, upgrade, compared to an Excel worksheet or a closing cost worksheet out of Encompass or whatever, CRM that we're using. But yeah, definitely. I mean, blown away by the the design and the branding, and it's all congruent now. So it's good.
Sweet. All right. Well, let's tell us what we're looking at here. What's the story? What's the strategy? And give us a feel for how you explain it to a client.
Yeah. So this actually happened to be a guy that I know, and so this is a refinance TCA right here, Dave, that we did at the end of the summer. And so this is a client that's owned some real estate in the past, and he obviously wanted to take advantage of low interest rates. Now, he already had a 3.625 interest rate, so not bad, right? But monthly payment was not an issue for him, and so he was really looking hard at like 15-year rates. He wanted a 15-year term. He wanted to be able to pay it off more aggressively, save interest, and so that was his thing. But one of the questions that I always ask my clients, and part of this kind of comes back from my financial advisor days, is I always ask every single client, how long do you plan on being in this home? Obviously, that helps us structure the right options for our clients. And when they ask the question, maybe it's 3 to 5 years, or maybe it's long term. And then the follow-up question is, well, if you do move in 5 to 7 years or 3 to 5 years, do you plan on selling the house, or do you plan on retaining it and renting it out as an investment property? And so I ask that for every single client. And so for this particular client, he is going to be there a while, but he was interested in investing in real estate. And so through that conversation, I said, well, would you like me to add an option here, a cash out, a home equity option, where you can tap into the equity of your home to possibly meet some of those real estate investment needs? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. I totally want to do that. Because in his mind, in our interview, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna invest in real estate. I'm gonna invest in things, but it's probably gonna be like, I'm just gonna save up my money like for the next 2-3 years to do that. And so what I was able to show him here was, okay, yeah, we could look at a 15-year refi. And even on a 15-year, obviously, his payment was gonna go down. And I showed him a low cost. And then I showed him the 15-year cash out option, and then of course a 30-year cash out, because money is cheap, and he was certainly interested in that. But I wanted to show him what it could look like. And the thing about it was, as we looked at the 15-year cash out, because that's what he was really interested in, versus the 15-year, I mean, you're talking about less than a $400 difference on a monthly basis. To get about $50,000 in cash out to achieve his objective of, investing in real estate. And so, for him, that was a winner. He loved that option, and that ended up being the one that he went with.
And hopefully the takeaway for everybody, guys, is it's a strategy. He's not just quoting rates and fees. He's delivering mortgage strategies. And is Mortgage Coach saving you time? You know,
Oh my gosh, Dave, a ton of time, a ton of time. Absolutely.
so before I get into kind of some closing thoughts on this, Jasmine had said that when it comes to delivering the Mortgage Coach live experience, she waits till after she gets them on the phone. So it sounds kind of like you. So literally, she wants them to engage with this report while she's on the phone with them. Thank you, Jasmine, for sharing that. And so go to the actual input. We call it the advice engine. So this is the consumer experience for anyone that's looking at this. Click in the upper right hand where it says settings. And I just want you guys to see, look at that beautiful black belt. You've created, what is that, a 309 total cost analysis. They've been viewed over 1,700 times, which means that that's not, I don't know if my math's right here, but that's like 5+ people are looking at this link. So he's giving it the link. Sometimes it's the same family member looking at it multiple times. Sometimes it's multiple family members that are looking at this link. Sometimes it's multiple family members and a realtor. Notice that he's created 49 videos. So it looks like you're getting after that. If you could scroll down a little bit, it looks like you're playing with the rep versus own. You're not doing a lot of those, but you're playing with that.
Yeah,
and then
just started.
And then APIs. What integrations are you using with Mortgage Coach?
So we just started using HomeBot, which is a phenomenal tool. Just getting to know that one. But the Jungo is the integration that I've used all year. And I got to tell you, Dave, like that integration has saved me a ton of time because I literally just go into my Jungo records, especially for refinances or past clients. And I go in there and click, create TCA. It automatically pops up over there. And man, that's helped save me a ton of time.
Love it, man, guys. And that's what we want to do. We want to give you a sales advantage so that when you give your rates and fees to a family, it's a complete competitive advantage, reduces rate shopping, improves conversion, improves the service for the client, but it's faster and easier because of our integrations with different CRMs. And that's awesome that you're using the Jungo integration and the HomeBot integration. So let's go ahead and stop sharing your screen if you don't mind. And let's go into wrap up mode. So you've watched a number of these interviews that I've done with top producers, and any come to mind, like a lot? Like how many do you think you've watched?
Oh my gosh, I would say, Dave, I mean, I'm watching every week for sure. I mean, at least one a week. I mean, I think I put on there the other day that like I watched Dan Keller, who's a buddy and I consider him a mentor. Jeremy Forcier, you had one of them last week. I think it was the goal setting. I watched it like late at night, like 10 o'clock at night. And I was so amped, I couldn't sleep the rest of the night. And I was like, man, I can't be watching these that late at night. But I watched, that one. I've been watching a lot. You've been having Denise Donahue on a lot, and her and her sister, Deborah, and they're doing some phenomenal work with marketing. I'm learning a ton from them. Wally, about 2-3 years ago. But I watch every single week. It's a practice. Every single week I'm watching, one or two.
Well, and hopefully that's a takeaway for folks. Like if you want to be a modern mortgage originator, and that doesn't mean you just use technology. That means you just want to be as efficient, effective, and play at the highest level. Tune into our YouTube channel. Did you by any chance catch any of our Modern Mortgage Summit that Todd Bookspan and the Win by Noon team put on?
I thought it was genius, and I did. I caught a good portion of that. I still need to go back and finish and just refer back to it. And so I think you have the pass, right? The annual pass out. Is that out now?
Yeah. Actually, as of this Monday, you can buy a 1-year, 365-day pass. So the day that you buy that, go to modernmortgagesummit.com. You get access to it, and it's over 60 interviews, or not interviews, but videos. And the thing I love about that is some of them are like 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Yeah. None of them are over 18 minutes. Like the longest video, and I think there's only like, I don't know, 10 that are that long.
I'm gonna buy that for sure.
Yeah,
Because you
so
also had a great tip recently, Dave. I think it was you that was talking about sharing that. We have a small branch and just like sharing it with other loan officers and in bite-sized pieces. So yeah, that was a phenomenal event. I loved it. Shayla was amazing. Josh Metal, all those guys.
yeah, an interview. If you didn't check it out, I interviewed Shayla this Monday,
I
and
listened
it
to it.
was. Oh, you did.
Yeah,
Wasn't that awesome? Like
oh,
how she is mentoring, leading, and
yeah.
managing. Yeah,
Took a lot of
check that
notes.
out.
A lot of notes.
Yeah, well, dude, I'll tell you what, man. It is a gift to have you in the mortgage coach community. It's leaders like
Thank you.
you that make our community awesome, and we're also changing how people get into debt in America. Like, yes, we want to have a sales advantage. We want to save time, but any family who gets into mortgage debt and they get a total cost analysis, they're more informed. They're going to build wealth with real estate faster. So that is our mission at Mortgage Coach, is to change how people get into debt in America and make sure that they're just getting a little more education. They're looking at the cost of different debt over time that matters to the family. So thank you for helping us make change, brother. I really appreciate you.
Hey, you got it. Hey, it's an honor to be here, Dave. And if I could just say one thing to, anybody, look, I'm a small fish, we're at 60 million, 200 families served. We're small compared to a lot of the people that, that I'm learning from. We'll be there. We'll get there soon with their help. But if there's anybody listening that you're not all in with Mortgage Coach, like, don't be like me. Don't wait. Don't be a gray belt for 2-3 years. Don't pay for it and not use it. Like, just go all in. This is the perfect time to do it. You got the holiday season coming up. Go all in. Don't think twice. And it's going to pay off huge for you like it did for me.
Well, my friend, I am looking forward to interviewing you again in 2021. And thank you once again for being a leader in the community and making time to give back. So anyone listening to this, if you got value, give us a like, share this with your mortgage friends. If you have questions, myself or Aaron will get your questions answered. Jasmine, thanks for chiming in during this interview and comments. She just made another comment. It's kind of funny. She said, I had a client tell me she loves the name Strategy D because she always puts strategies. It sounds like a hip hop band. Strategy D. There's a name for a new band. All right, guys.
That's awesome. Well, I love it.
All right, brother. Well, hey, have a great day. Have a great weekend. And thanks so much.
All right.